keeping in integrity with the theme of this podcast this year, I thought it was appropriate to start talking about how we heal and move forward, because we cannot be trapped in these consciousness traps and healing loops and be connecting to one another through trauma. And so I want to be talking about how we start to transcend not just any kind of trauma, but investment trauma and coaching trauma. I mean, this has been a hot topic, investments, right? We've been hearing it for the past week with the whole GameStop hedge fund investments and how, things are shifting a lot with money. And I mean, we got Uranus and Taurus, we've got Aquarius season, and 7 planets will be making its way in Aquarius this season. So it's time to talk about rebellion and community. And a way that we can come together in community is to shift together and to really heal together and be healed, and from that space empower one another. And so it was inevitable for me to be talking about investment trauma because this is a journey and a story, I should say, that I've been really navigating through and at this space in my life and in my business where I'm ready to not allow that to be the running force or like the weight on my shoulder anymore. It just doesn't light me up. It's not serving me. And so it's important to talk about, maybe shitty things happen. It's part of life. When we take investments, we take risks. And it's also important to know when we're making these investments where we are. Where is our mindset? What's our intention? And what are we expecting? You know what I mean? Are we giving away our power? So a little bit about one of my challenging investments. I knew I wanted to, in 2019, take my business to the next level. And so I decided to invest in a coach, in a friend. $8,000 later, I realized everything she was teaching I already knew. And I maxed out a credit card. And I had to leave the program because it just wasn't in alignment, wasn't in integrity. And it took time for me to, one, not only see how much of false light energy I was still ingrained and entrapped in, that I was just like a mosquito going to the light of just like, feeding the old love and light and the airy-fairy, not grounded world I was craving, because I was still very wounded and had a lot of issues with my own embodiment. And it's been an experience to also see where was my mindset when I made that investment. And this is something I want to dive in deeper, because if you are investing in people or programs because they carry, or they love to market that they carry codes, or you think like you're missing these codes, and so if you're going to invest in this program or invest in the experience, then this is the only way you're going to gain access to these codes. It's the definition of being disempowered in your own truth, thinking that the answers are outside of you. And so it's really important to know that if you are investing in a coach or in a program, you are understanding that this mentor is here to support you, to help you find within yourself what you already know. Yes, they can help pierce the veil, because maybe you've been still in that disillusionment, and maybe there still is a lot of that infiltrated energy in your field that has been steering you off course. But a good mentor will help you see what's already within you. They will mirror back to you what you already know and will encourage you to find that within yourself, right? Because when you see someone that you're investing in, a person outside of you, they're sharing with you what is possible. They're sharing with you that you're not alone in this journey. And they're sharing with you their wisdom and their experience and are helping you cut back the amount of time it would need to get to a certain point or a lesson learned. You know what I mean? They're piercing the veil with you and having that support, because again, the lone wolf days are over, and especially we're in the Aquarian age. It's a time of community and collaboration and coming together. And so we need to start to get radically honest with ourselves as to why we're making the investments we are, right? If you are investing from a space of overflow and empowerment, and you're doing it because it's something you truly desire and it just like brings so much joy and that feeling of like excitement going into this experience where you're already feeling whole and just want to fine tune and even accelerate higher, that's a great investment. But if you're investing in something out of scarcity or feeling broken or not enough where you are right now, that in itself, if you are, that's you feeling inadequate of your power and what you're really capable of. And that's something that's going to take some real courage from you to admit. I know for me, I've invested like well over $30,000 in my business in the past couple years in coaches and programs. And honestly, it wasn't until recently that I felt really good in my investments. I've been working with one of my dear friends all year, my friend Tori Washington, and taking a big leap and investing in a big course again after I got fucked over from another friend from her program. But I knew it was time, and this is going to be to the next piece, is that it's important to invest in people who are embodied in their truth and invest in people who are living from that space of integrity, okay? So maybe in the beginning, you still don't have a lot of the discernment and you're still can't have a hard time trusting yourself or listening to your intuition, but it's important to feel into it. It's important to honor and recognize their energy, their vibe, and their presence when they show up for you. And go from that space. I can't even tell you how many times I invested in something because I wanted that lifestyle. Again, so I thought I wasn't enough, right? Like the thing that irks me the most, I mean, yes, celebrate, but as you'll hear next week from Fallon Satterfield, she's been talking about it a lot on her Instagram too. Like a lot of these white women who love to like, you know, shower themselves and take photo shoots with them and their money. A lot of it was from their white privilege and really in that space. And I think that's something we also need to talk about. But to understand that who are the people who are actually in integrity with the work and are really bringing something unique and genuine to the experience. Not some cookie cutter approach, but who's actually coming from, again, that space of integrity. Who's showing up and really believing in the program and what they're ready to share with you. Because, you know, there comes a time when we go into these experiences and we think, or in the past, let's say, that, you know, making this investment is going to be the answer to your prayers and you've like give your all of your power away to that coach or to that program, when in reality, we need to start taking responsibility for our progress. We need to start taking responsibility for our actions and for our choices. It's not outside of us. You are the one that's actively doing the work, right? This is an experience for you to become embodied in how far you've come, right? Because there's no magic healer out there. If you're thinking the answers are going to be, you know, out there and praising something out there or someone out there, it's like it can become a like a false prophet experience. And of course, we can appreciate and honor the people that have supported us. But sometimes I think we forget that we made the effort. I was taught that by a friend a long time ago, this gentleman. And, when I was first in the depth of my pain and my healing journey and just gave away all my power, and he was so disappointed in me that I wasn't like proud of myself. And that's something we need to honor and address more. Like, we need to be very proud of how far we've come through these experiences. And we also need to honor ourselves for the lessons learned from those not so great choices as well. Because sometimes when you do an investment, it's a risk. Let's be real. There's a time and place. There's things to be integrated. There's things to be learned, and have your nervous system ready to receive. Be consistent and show up. Make it a priority. Those are key factors that we need to address and honor and remember along the way. Because if you've made shitty experiences, or if you've made shitty investments in experiences or courses or programs or coaches or mentors in the past, I invite you to start talking to that version of you, right? That younger man, woman being who made that investment, and really reflect back on where you were when you made that investment. What was your mindset? What was your belief in yourself? Where were you feeling disempowered? Where were you giving your power away to outside of you? And remember that no one knows you quite like you. And that wounded man, woman, child being within you will continue to be running the show for your financial state, for your business, for your overall relationships and your solistic approach into life, until you start acknowledging them. They're a part of you. They're in here. They're guiding, they're leading, and they're in the heart. They're in your heart. They are who you are. You can't spiritually bypass them out of your way. You can't forget about them, because they're going to keep creeping in. This is more than just inner child work. And of course, we can also see the patterns of, where were we trying to people please and, didn't want to disappoint a coach and talk to them. And a lot of manipulation can also happen in the selling process. That also needs to be talked about. And luckily and gratefully, people are starting to talk about it more, as we're all seeing that especially the coaching and wellness industry is shifting a lot, because more and more people are waking up. More and more people's bullshit meters are present. And we need to understand that the only way we're going to heal from those traumas and from that pain is to, one, acknowledge where you were when you made that investment and nourish them. And two, get out of the healing loop by taking that leap and making an investment again. Making an investment that makes sense. Making an investment that feels expansive. Reclaiming your relationship with investments, and more than that, your relationship with money. That's something my friend Tori Washington, who, like I said, I've been investing, has been really helping me work through, is becoming more intimate with money and having money be my homegirl who's on this journey with me, my ride or fly, who's going to be navigating through as I continue to up-level my business, as I continue to become healthier, as I continue to expand and grow and really unleash my medicine with the world. The only way I was able to heal from the trauma of investing, and what a friend who promised me the world and didn't deliver, which was also a huge red flag I should have noticed, but I was so desperate at the time to get out of the hole I was in that I was willing to make a $2,400 a month investment in a group program that just didn't work for me. It wasn't until I believed in myself and honored my worthiness of asking for that support and getting that help to take my work and my embodiment to the next level, that I was able to start shifting that story and really reclaim my power back. And of course, there's, remember looking at those credit card bills maxed out and figuring out how I was going to pay for not just my bills, but for everything else, because it wiped me out clean on multiple accounts. But I wouldn't be able to be sharing this conversation and this guidance and wisdom with you now if I didn't go through it. And that's the thing I think we need to also remember, is that there are nuggets of wisdom and lessons and experience and deeper levels of compassion along the way that will be gifted to you. And the discernment will be part of that experience, which is part of the blessing, right? We just need to remember, what's that why behind the investments? Is it coming because of greediness, like we saw with the whole GameStop thing? Is it coming out of defeat, feeling unworthy where you are now and thinking that this is going to be, like I said, the magic pill that's going to get you out of it? Or are you investing in something from that space of overflow? And of course, there's a risk to it. But that's where you need to start talking, not only one with money and your relationship with her and how this is, what your body's telling you. Connect to God, your ancestors, connect to your inner child, connect to your whole being before making this investment. And take that leap of faith. Like, where is your faith in this? I'm just tired of seeing people get fucked over and manipulated. It's tough to watch, without a doubt. And so it's important for us to encourage one another that this doesn't have to be the solution. And I just want to see this community really feel empowered in what they're investing in, really feel whole within themselves, really feel as though they've made peace with their past. And again, be very discerning on who are the people they're investing in, what projects, what experiences they're saying yes to, because it feels right. Not because it looks right, which has been part of the challenge of social media, that a lot of these coaches love to like va-va-voom their lifestyle, and like to flaunt flashy things. And I'm all for having nice things. I love my nice things, but there's more to that. There's that integrity that comes through, that genuine connection, that desire to be of service. That is what's going to determine whether or not this is the person to invest in, or this is the program to invest in. And how does that feel inside? How do you visualize yourself going through this experience? How does it feel expansive? These are the things we need to start looking at. And again, if you've had investment trauma in the past, I really invite you to write a letter, one, to money, and share with you how you're choosing to go forth and navigate through this life with her. And two, write a letter to that part in your life, or when you were in that place when you made those not so great investments, and let her know that you forgive her. Let her know that you see her. Let her know that what you've learned from it, and let her know that brighter days are ahead. Because we can really, really shame ourselves when we don't have these great investments. But sometimes there's great investments and sometimes there's shitty investments. And until we can, again, learn the lesson from it, learn what to do, what not to do, how we choose to honor ourselves, how we choose to show up and be when we're making that investment, we're going to find ourselves in that loop over and over and over and over again. So I invite you to make sure that you're choosing to invest in something that feels expansive Invest in someone that really feels supported, who you really feel they see you. Check in with yourself before you make that investment and ask for that support and that guidance from your highest self, from God, and really allow that and your inner child to be what moves you, what helps you take that leap and holds your hand as you take that leap out of your comfort zone. So my prayer for you is that you understand that you already carry all the codes that you need. There is no program, there is no teacher, there is no one or nothing outside of you that has these codes that you're missing. They're all within you. You've just got to start clearing out the debris and start chiseling away the limiting beliefs, the doubts, the insecurities, the old stories, the traumas and the pains that are protecting those codes from being experienced until you are ready to experience it and be fully present with it. Remember that. Remember that. I love you, and I'm excited to see how, as a community, we feel inspired to grow together, to circulate money together, to support one another together. And that's my driving force as I continue to shift and experience this metamorphosis in my business, shifting out of personal development and more into marketing and brand work. Because I want to help you and support you in really unleashing your medicine. And so that in itself is an investment that I'm taking to continue to learn, to continue to grow, to connect. And I'm really honored that you're here with me, that you trust me, that you see me, that you believe in me. And the biggest thing I'm here to remind you is that you already know all the answers. Everything you're looking for is already within you. I'm here to root for you. I'm here to help support you. And I'm here to teach you practical things you may not know or marketing things that you may not be aware of. But all in all, you carry the codes that you need to navigate through this life and experience it to your best ability. It's all within you. And so I'm excited to see how you're here. And again, just please nourish that younger version of you who made those shitty investments in the past. Forgive the mentor or the coach you made the investment from as well, because sometimes we just throw it all on at them when you took the responsibility to make that investment too. So we gotta really reclaim our power and say, my bad. I think that's the other part too. Become humble to the situation. And remember to give yourself permission to keep growing, to keep learning, to keep expanding. And that's really the beauty of investing, is that we can continue to soar and expand and connect and meet and network and so many beautiful things. But just do it from that space of overflow, from that space of pleasure, and do it from that space that feels right. And when you do that, transformation is inevitable because you're believing in yourself. And that's the massive, massive gift of it all, is that you believed you were worthy of that investment. It's the first step, really. So I love you, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Remember to leave a rating and review, especially if you listen on iTunes. If you watch on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And I just want to thank you for being on this journey. This is going to be such a really powerful season here. And I'm really pumped to be sharing with you more and empowering you and supporting for you, because I'm rooting for you. And remember, the world is ready for your medicine. I'll see you next time. Take care. Satnam.